The Small World by Yan Li. Illustrated by Tatiana Rusakova. Read by Kitty Jones. An autistic girl inspired this story. I hope the girl's life is going well. She has a bright future, and I hope she enjoys a peaceful life. The little girl, Ruby, always slept when the moon rose and the stars were shining in the sky. Moonlight kissed her lonely body. Stars wiped away her tears. One night there was no moonlight and no stars. There was just darkness everywhere. Ruby was so scared that she hid under the bed. A voice whispered from a drawer,
Come out, little girl. We are all here."
Ruby looked around, wondering where the voice came from. The first drawer of her bureau slowly opened. A little mouse jumped out. He waved his chubby little paw and gave Ruby a big smile. Ruby walked over to the drawer. She gave her hand to the little mouse to shake his paw, and he dragged her inside the drawer. Ruby couldn't see or hear anything. A strong wind swirled around her. It pushed and pulled her upward. Suddenly, Ruby felt the strong sunlight burning her face. She opened her eyes and saw a brightly colored, lively world. The little mouse appeared and jumped on her hand.
"Can we be friends?"
the mouse asked, as his little pink nose touched her nose gently. Ruby smiled nervously.
"Don't be afraid,"
the mouse said. He screwed up his nose.
"We mice can sniff out each other's pain and fear."
Another mouse joined them and tried to make Ruby laugh. He squinted his eyes, grinded his teeth, and bulged his cheek. Ruby laughed.
"Hi, can we be friends?"
asked some puffins as they flew over Ruby's head and sat on a nearby tree. Ruby saw how brightly colored their beaks were.
"We are very outgoing birds,"
the puffins said as they rubbed their beaks together. Ruby smiled as she watched them. "When we find friends, we rub our beaks with them to show our feelings. Just like people shaking hands."
"Hi, do you want to swing with us?"
Ruby looked up and saw two monkeys swaying gently and grooming each other.
"When we hang around with friends, we love to groom each other to keep each other clean and free from bugs."
One of the monkeys held Ruby's hand and swung with her by hanging his tail on a branch of the tree. Ruby felt like she was flying. The monkeys let her sit beside them on the tree. They all were sitting so very high. In the distance, Ruby could see two giraffes wrapping their necks together.
"That's not very friendly,"
a monkey shouted at the two giraffes.
"You think giraffes are the most silent friends in the world, but sometimes they love to show each other who's the stronger one."
Suddenly, a strong wind blew and Ruby fell from the tree. She grabbed a huge leaf to slow her fall and gently landed on a stone in some water below.
"Wow, what's happening?"
Ruby asked as the stone suddenly began moving. "Who's on my back?" a voice grunted. Ruby saw that the other stones started to rise above the water. They were not stones at all, but hippopotamuses. The one that Ruby had landed on was the biggest one. He wasn't happy that his nap time had been bothered.
Please bring her to the riverbank because we're friends,
the monkey in the tree shouted to the hippopotamus. The biggest hippo made a roaring sound as loud as a jet engine. We're having a meeting to discuss how to help you, one of the hippos explained to Ruby. After the meeting, the hippos arranged themselves into a line, from the biggest ones to the smallest. They were like stepping stones and reached all the way to the riverbank. Can we be friends? The biggest hippo asked Ruby.
Of course,
Ruby smiled as she carefully walked across the hippo's stepping stone backs. When she had almost reached the riverbank, she heard a huge noise behind her. Lots of fish leapt out of the water. Some of them raised their fins. Some of them flared out their gills. They skipped over the hippos like little rockets. They're trying to warn us that danger is near, one of the hippos shouted. The hippos quickly moved themselves into a circle. They surrounded Ruby, who was in the center of them all. Let's see who's coming, the biggest hippo cried. An army of crocodiles swam toward the hippos. Crocodiles love to hunt in teams, the biggest hippo said. They always stick together.
Big boy, I haven't seen you for quite a long time.
The largest crocodile laughed wickedly. Sharp Teeth, what brings you here? The biggest hippo asked.
We don't take kindly to guests around here. This is my place,
Sharp Teeth replied, staring at Ruby.
No way! She's our friend,
all the hippos said.
Friend?
The crocodiles laughed.
We don't need friends. We're the most dangerous animals in the world.
The crocodiles swung their tails and made a dive for the hippos.
Stop!
A tiny bird flew over the crocodiles like an arrow. The largest crocodile stopped immediately and gave the bird a big smile.
Sharp Teeth, why are you so mean to her?
The bird blamed the crocodile. The crocodile lowered his head and felt ashamed.
You are the largest, but you still need friends to help you,
the bird said.
You love to let me fly inside your mouth to clean your teeth. And you never bite me. We trust each other because we're friends.
Yes, Sharp Teeth, we all need friends in this small world. If you didn't have birds to clean your teeth wouldn't stay sharp, the biggest hippo said. Another hippo said,
We also need birds to do our skin care for us.
The crocodiles all slipped below the water and left quietly. Ruby got to the riverbank safely. The monkeys clapped their paws. The birds sang a song and the mice danced under the trees. They all invited Ruby to join them.
Yes, we all need friends in this small world,
Ruby said, smiling. She felt so happy and grateful. When Ruby woke up, she looked around. She didn't know if it was all real or just a dream. But from that night on, she never felt lonely in this small world. Moonlight still kissed her body, but now the stars laughed with her. Ruby knew that she was going to make a new friend tomorrow. The end. Hope you all can make a new friend tomorrow. The Small World by Yan Li. Illustrated by Tatiana Rusakova. Read by Kitty Jones.